everybody, my name is Sue and I'm from Dog Almighty, and I wanted to talk to you today about enrichment for dogs. Enrichment for dogs is all about giving them mental stimulation, and at a time like this where many of us are stuck at home, possibly a little bit more often with our dogs than we are normally, then enrichment is so important. So what do I mean by enrichment? And I've got a whole collection of awesome doggy puzzle toys here in front of me that I'd like to talk you through. And what it really means is making puzzles for dogs so that they have to figure something out and thereby get mental stimulation from doing that. So it keeps them entertained and it gives them mental stimulation. Why would we do this? You know, whether you need to do this or want to do this with your dog, it depends on the kind of dog that you have. It depends on breed and temperament and how foodie they are. But you know, any nuisance type behaviours that you might be challenged with at the moment, being at home with your dog, you know, attention seeking or barking at the neighbours or generally just being a nuisance, then you know, introducing more mental stimulation will just help with that. So I like to use any food that I give to my dogs as mental stimulation. So I've got terriers, we've got Rosie here and Sprocket on the other side, and they have a really high energy drive. So if you have a dog with a high energy drive, being stuck at home with them all of the time can be a bit challenging. So I have over the years collected all different manner of toy, and they all work a little bit different. So I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time. Maybe you can just take a look at them with the camera, and they're all designed to have food inside so that the dog has to figure out how to get the food out by interacting with a particular toy. And I find that puzzle toys need to be introduced slowly to some dogs. You know, you can't expect to feed them from a bowl one day and then the following day introduce a pretty difficult puzzle toy for them to use. So sometimes you have to be with them when they're playing the toys, or make it super easy for them to win. When they're playing with the puzzle toy for the first few times, they need to learn that it's a food dispensing item. The other thing I find in working with clients is that a lot of people put treats in puzzle toys. I like to put their meals in puzzle toys, so you're not actually giving any additional calories, and it's a really healthy way to hand out the food that you were going to be handing out anyway. So I find it's just a waste to put food down on the ground when you could make entertainment out of it, like I'm going to show you. So what food you put in them depends on the toy and depends on your dog and what you normally feed them. I like to feed dry food to my dogs, and so a lot of my toys are more for dry food. This is an awesome treat ball, and with that you pop your dog's regular food inside and they will interact with it in order to get the food out. So my little dog Rosie is pretty foodie, so I'm going to measure out her regular food here and how much she gets in a meal so that I don't overfeed. It's really important to monitor what you're putting in your puzzle toys so that you're not willy-nilly giving out food. So I'm going to load up this treat ball by just popping her food inside in there. Uh-oh, Rosie. And hopefully she will nose it around the garden to get the food out. So this is a dry food game, and lots of the games that you see in front of you are dry food, like these kinds of games. They're wooden. I got these at Kmart for a few bucks each. This is a Go Slow bowl from the vet, and these are ones that I bought online. And like I say, these are more dry food games. This is a dry food game. If you were to put any kind of dog meat inside in here, or wet veggies or something like that, moist veggies, then they wouldn't be able to get it out. And again, it's really important for puzzle toys to be doable for dogs. You know, if you're more into feeding wet food or a mixture of dog meat and dry food, then something like the Kong products are really awesome. And that's where you can more put dog food pasted in here. Some people use peanut butter. Again, that's fine, but I prefer to stick with my regular meals so that it's not really treats, it's my regular meals. But you do need some kind of an adhesive for the Kong toys. I have any number of Kong toys, but I find them hard to keep track of. My dogs steal them and bury them. And like I say, I feed dry food, so I generally stick with the dry food toys. They're all a bunch of shop-bought toys, and when we're back in circulation, maybe you can get yourself some of those, but you can also home-make puzzle toys. You don't have to go out and spend a whole load of money buying toys. It depends on your dog again. A lot of these games are more for a little dog, because big dogs would be a little bit rough. A big dog could play with this toy, no problem. A big dog could play with this toy, no problem, because it's robust. But again, you've got to choose the toy that's appropriate for your dog. And my dogs are terrier crosses, and they love little toys like this. So this toy has had his arms pulled off today during play. And sometimes I might pull some of the stuffing out if I felt that it might be dangerous for my dog. But even just putting the food into the holes of this stuffed toy will create a really fun game for my dogs to play with. And they will play with this for, 15 to 20 minutes, trying to get in there to get the food and making other holes in the toy. And they're terriers, so that's really appealing to their genetics to pull apart little toys like this, and I like to support that kind of thing. I also use a whole collection of boxes to make my puzzle toys. Again, the strength of the box depends on the size of your dog. If you have a big dog, you're going to need a tough box to make it a good game. If you have a little dog, then simply an egg carton will be enough to keep them entertained and to keep them going for a while. You want to get about 15 to 20 minutes out of your puzzle toy, so that your dog is getting 15 to 20 minutes out stimulation out of each meal that they get. And I tape up these boxes to make it a little bit more difficult, or even the tea boxes. And another nice one for big dogs at home is to take an old tennis ball and to take a blade and cut it, and then you can split it and put their food inside, and they're chewing and chewing and chewing. That's one of the real cool things about puzzle toys, is that they encourage the dog to chew. And that chewing mechanism is really, really settling for a dog. Oftentimes you'll see a dog chewing on their chew toy and their eyes are closing because they're enjoying it so much and they're looking extremely settled. This is another homemade puzzle toy for dry food. I could tip my dry food into the bottle and then throw it out in the garden and see how long it takes for my dog to figure out. So if your dog is not super foodie, and you'll know that because you'll put your food on the ground and your dog kind of sniffs it and moves away, they're grazers, then sometimes they might need a little bit of encouragement to get into it. So you guys getting impatient. So you could add just a sprinkling of treats or something nice to jazz it up, to give some extra motivation for them to get into the food in the first place. My two have been playing with puzzle toys for quite a while, so they don't need too much encouragement. They get straight into it as soon as I put the toy down. So I need to prepare two toys, one for Rosie and one for Sprocket. I think Sprocket is going to get this. Is my favorite toy at the moment. It keeps him entertained for quite a while. So Sprocket has slightly different food to Rosie. Sprocket's only 2. I have to be very careful about the amount of food that I give to Rosie, because she's more of an elderly dog. So I need to be very careful about how much food that I give to her. Sprocket tends to burn through food very quickly because he's a very energetic dog. Okay, so I've got my puzzle toys ready. So this is how we do dinner time at my place. Here you go, Rosie. Ready? Off we go. So I hope you've enjoyed the video about enrichment. Maybe you can come at me with your ideas for enrichment. These are just a few things that I had lying around the house to give you some ideas. So if you like the video, then please subscribe to my channel and see you next time.